Hello and welcome to this short video, Congress 101, an insider's view of Capitol Hill. This program is part of the Congressional Management Foundation's Partnership for a More Perfect Union. We're proud that the American Library Association is a part of that effort, helping to build better communications, understanding, and relationships between citizens and Congress. What's it like to be a member of Congress? What do you do with your time? How often do you get to see your family? And how hard do you work? Well, there's a stark contrast between what members of Congress think and what the American public thinks. A public opinion survey was taken in the summer of 2013, and respondents were asked the following question: does your representative in Congress care what you think? Contrast that with a survey taken by the Congressional Management Foundation of members of Congress, which asked, please rank the most important aspects of your job. When asked if Congress cares about what I think, only 16% of the American public would agree with that statement. But when members of Congress were asked what's important to them about their job, 95% of the members responding to the survey said staying in touch with constituents. According to the survey of members of the House of Representatives, when Congress is in session, members work approximately 70 hours a week. When it's out of session and they're home on recess, 59 hours a week. The average number of meetings a member of Congress holds on a daily basis when in Washington is 13. They usually last about 15 minutes. In the modern age, most members of Congress keep their families in their home district or states and travel back frequently, with 4 out of 5 reporting that they go home almost every weekend. So how do members of Congress actually spend their time? Well, it's not what you think. Many people in the punditry class and the public think members of Congress spend their time raising money. In fact, according to a survey of members of the House of Representatives, 35% of their time is spent on legislation or policy-related activities, such as meeting with colleagues or attending committee hearings. When they're back home, they're focused on constituent services, interacting with the media, and of course spending some time on campaign activities. Now let's get inside of the brain of a member of Congress and figure out how they actually think. The big part of the brain that really dominates their thinking is this part that wants to make a difference in the world. They got elected to office to change public policy. They also have this desire to please everyone. One member of Congress said that members of Congress are just middle children trying to please their father. They also have a very large ego if they don't have one when they come to Washington. One is issued to them. And of course, they have this great ability to raise money. Now, for the experienced watchers of this video, you're suggesting this is a little off, and indeed it is. This is the brain of a freshman member of Congress. After they have been in office for some time, the ego takes over the larger part of the brain, but they still have a big part of them that wants to make a difference in the world. Let's now examine the basic makeup of a congressional office. The basic structure of a congressional office really hasn't changed for 40 years. In fact, it's set by law in the House of Representatives. They can only have 18 full-time staff members. Members in the House have an average of 8 or 9 staff members in their Washington office, with 6 or 7 in the district office. Senate office structures can vary based on the population of the state, with larger states getting more budgets for staff, but the average is 35 staff members, with about 60% of them in the Washington office. Staff serve in a variety of capacities for members of Congress, such as Chief of Staff, a District or State Director, Legislative Director. The most prevalent positions are Legislative Assistant, or in the District, a caseworker. And if you do travel to Washington to meet a member of Congress and her staff, you're going to notice they're pretty young. The average age of a House Legislative Assistant is 27 years old, but they're often the best and brightest that the state has to offer. Finally, a big part of congressional operations is responding to constituent mail. Constituent mail operations changed significantly in the age of the Internet. The Congressional Management Foundation estimates that every congressional office has experienced anywhere from a 200% to 1,000% in constituent communications in the last decade. A House office can get up to 6,000 communications in email, mail, and faxes on a monthly basis. One Senate office can get up to 25,000 in a week. Even with that increased volume, in a survey of congressional staff, 87% of the staff said email and the internet has made it easier for constituents to become involved in the public policy process. By a 3-to-1 margin, they say it's made members and senators more accountable to constituents. But only 41% says it's increased constituents' understanding of what goes on in Washington. But staff in the survey also report that constituents still play a vital role in the public policy dialogue. The Congressional Management Foundation survey of congressional staff asked this question: if your member or senator has not already arrived at a firm decision on an issue, how much influence might the following advocacy strategies directed to the Washington office have on his or her decision? 97% of the congressional staff responding to the survey said in-person visits from constituents would have some or a lot of influence. 96% said contact from a constituent's representative, which was described as a nonprofit leader, association leader, or corporate leader from the district or state. So the data clearly shows that citizens getting involved in the public policy process can actually make a difference in legislative outcomes. Thank you for watching this video. If you'd like more information on the Congressional Management Foundation's Partnership for a More Perfect Union, please visit our website at congressfoundation.org.